G'day everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. Now in this one, I am going to be showing you guys how to make those dark, realistic guitar samples perfect for an artist such as Young Thug or Roddy Ricch inside of FL Studio. If you are new here, I would greatly appreciate it if you do punch that subscribe button for me. And while you're at it, you might as well flick that bell so you get notified every single time that I upload a video. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this new camera angle as well, because I am trying some new things out. But with that one being said, let's get into FL Studio and let's deconstruct this sample. Okay, so here we are inside of FL Studio, and when it comes to making these dark, realistic guitar samples, we obviously want to use a real guitar. Now, unfortunately, I do not have a nylon guitar with me, so I went with the second best option, which is opening up an instance of the Ilya Efimov nylon guitar inside of Kontakt. Now, just keep in mind, we are working at a BPM of 123 in the key of C sharp minor harmonic, and what we are actually doing with this one is something really, really simple. We are using two chords. Now, what I mean by that one, as you can see, the first chord is actually this F sharp instead of the C sharp, mainly due to the fact that I just liked how it sounded starting with a higher chord. Now, if we have a look here, we grab this G sharp and we bump that one down an octave, we actually have what's known as an F sharp diminished chord. Now, what I mean by that one is if we bump this G sharp up one semitone, we now have what is an F sharp minor triad. But having an F sharp minor just made it feel a bit sad and not evil, dark, and, suspenseful. So in order to get that sound, we bump this A down one semitone to the G sharp. We bump that one up an octave. And as you can see up the top here, we are working with that semitone. We're dancing around it. We go G sharp to A, down to G, G yet again, up to A, ending it onto the G. Now, all we did is we grabbed this fifth here, we copied and bumped that one up the octave. Now, all we did to get the second chord, you ready for this? We grabbed all of this, we hit Control B, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just simply pitched it down 5 semitones. It is still in the key of C sharp harmonic minor, but it's just an easy way just to grab that tension. But in context, this is what the guitar sounds like. Going on to the effects with this guitar, we actually keep it really simple. We have an EQ come in where we're getting rid of a decent amount of low end. Once that happens, we open up a guitar rig, which we are using the preset JnB&x. I more than likely butchered that name. We turn the master wet drive, that one to 20%. We have a Valhalla vintage verb come in where the mix is on 32%, pre-delay is 0, decay 4 seconds, and a low cut of 340 hertz. Another EQ comes in where we're just cutting out a lot of the low end yet again, because having the reverb and the guitar rig come in just kind of re-added some of that, and we don't want that. We want as much room as possible for a bass, so we just, get rid of that. Last but not least, we have a Puig child come in where we're just compressing it, just taming some of the peaks. The next element that comes in from Kontakt yet again, and this one is the Noire Pure Basic Pure Piano. Now, I wanted a natural sounding low end with this. We do have a synth bass, but I wanted something that also sounded a bit natural. That's why I went with the piano. Now, all we're doing with this one is something really simple. We grab the root notes over 2 octaves, as you can see, F sharp, and then C sharp and C sharp. We copy paste that one over, but we do have a top line with this piano, and the top line is really simple. We start with the C sharp, and then we're just working with the semitone where we have G sharp, A, G sharp, E down to the G sharp. That gets copied and pasted one more time. But in context, this is what the piano sounds like. Just keeping the piano really simple, given the fact that the guitar was pretty complicated. So I didn't want to have so much happening with, one pattern being very complicated, then another pattern being very complicated, just makes it, you know, so complicated for an artist to be able to jump on. So if you have one melody that is busy, keep everything else as simplistic as possible. Going on to the effects with this piano, we have an EQ come in where we're just getting rid of some of the low end, yet again, just leaving room for the synth bass. A Mo TT comes in where the amount is on 20% and we have boosted it 2 decibels. And another EQ comes in where we're just getting rid of some of the low end. We're boosting around the 1400 hertz and we're doing a cut at the very high end. Just, you know, shape it how we wanted it to sound like. Going on to the next element of this sample, it actually comes in from Arcade, and this one is the Trill Flute coming in from the Drip expansion. Now, this is actually an instrument bank. It's not your typical samples or your phrases. It's, you know, just practically just one sound that you can just use over any key that you want. Now, all we did with this one is we played a really, really simple pattern. We have some phrases and we just, you know, added in some runs. As you can see here, we have C sharp and then we have A to G sharp, F, E, ending onto the D sharp. Then we have one last pattern over here where it goes G sharp, F sharp, E, D sharp, E, D sharp, ending onto the E. As you can see, we're just playing with that semitone, just making it as dark and eerie as possible. That gets copied and pasted over. But for the last pattern over here, we do change it a little bit because instead of going down, instead of having a run that goes down, we have a run that actually goes up, where we go D sharp to E, playing with that semitone, F sharp to G sharp, down to the F sharp, E, down to the D sharp, finishing it on that semitone. But in context, this is what the flute sounds like. Just keeping it really simple and just adding it in where there was, you know, some room available when, you know, the piano wasn't really playing, just allowing it to, you know, kind of bounce off each other. Going on to the effects with this flute, yet again, keep it really simple because we just have a Valhalla vintage verb come in where the mix is on 38%, pre-delay 0, decay 4 seconds, low cut 220 hertz. An EQ comes in where we're just getting rid of a lot of the low end. We then insert another EQ where we're just doing some shaping, getting rid of a decent amount of low end, and we're just boosting the high end a little bit. As you possibly realize from the piano, we took out the high end. With the flute, we're adding it in. We're just making sure that there isn't clashing of frequencies. Last but not least, an RVox stereo comes in where we have the compression on -3. The last element of this sample comes in from Serum, and this one, believe it or not, is the Analog Mafia bass. Now, if you do want this one, link to it in the description, as well as so many other Serum presets that I have made myself, which you guys can cop completely for free. But all we're doing with this one is practically following the root notes. As you can see here, we actually start on the E because the final sample we have actually pitched down 2 semitones, putting it onto the key of B harmonic minor. So the root note for this one is E. Then we go up to E4 over here before we add in some filler notes in the form of D and C sharp before we go down to the B. Then we bump up to the octave yet again to this B3. Then we go down to C sharp, D before we copy and paste that one over. The only difference is for this part here, instead of having the D and C sharp down here, we bump that one up an octave. And then yet again, B2, ending it onto the B3. We don't actually have the run. But in context, this is what the bass sounds like. Yet again, friendly reminder, this preset and so many others are available to download completely for free in the description. If you did decide to cop it, just simply put in the comments, thank you for the free presets. Would greatly appreciate that one, and would also, you know, kind of trick YouTube into pushing my video into the algorithm a little bit more. Okay, thank you. But yeah, once we had that, we routed everything over to insert 5 minus the bass because we wanted this to be the melody bus, where we added in the sound shifter, pitching it down 2 semitones, putting it onto the key of B harmonic minor. And RC20 comes in where we are using the Vinyl 3 preset. The only thing that we changed is we changed the type to 7.5 and the distortion to air. Once that was done, we added in an EQ where we're just getting rid of some of the low end yet again, because keep in mind the synth bass isn't part of the melody bus, so we just wanted to leave as much room as possible. An SSL compressor comes in where we're just gluing it all together, just making it sound cohesive. Last but not least, an L1 limiter comes in, just controlling the peaks. But yeah, that is how you can make those dark, realistic guitar samples inside of FL Studio, which is perfect for artists such as Roddy Ricch or Young Thug. If you are new here yet again, I would greatly appreciate it if you do punch that subscribe button for me. And while you're at it, you might as well flick that bell so you get notified every single time that I upload a video. Yet again, if you did cop those presets for free, please just put in the comments, thank you for the free presets. Yet again, I do stream live over on Kick as well, so if you do want to catch the shenanigans live, would greatly appreciate it if you follow me over there too. But with that one being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time for another video.